Welcome to this special edition of Cronkite News. I'm Amber Kawaji. Thanks for joining us. Our Cronkite News reporters work in teams to cover specific issues important to all Arizonans. Those beats range from borderlands to business, from education to technology. Tonight, we highlight stories from the legal team, reports on government affairs, legislation, law enforcement, and the people working to make our communities safer.
A new scam is putting some elderly citizens in foreign jails. Arizona Senator Jeff Flake is shedding light on that problem in Washington, D.C.
Emails are going around to senior citizens promising them a free trip overseas. They're tricked into carrying packages containing illegal drugs across country borders.
These scammers are particularly brazen. This is taken to a whole new level now.
145 seniors have been arrested for possession of these drugs, and 44 of them remain in foreign jails. One Arizona man fell victim to this scam. Daniel Siebert had plane tickets all set up before ICE stopped him at a Georgia airport.
I was supposed to go to UK, pick up some kind of a package, from there go to Dubai, and then from Dubai I was supposed to go to Japan. But I didn't think anything about it. I said, well, I've never been to Dubai, so I wanted to go.
Senator Flake is warning senior citizens to stay alert.
You're not just going to lose your fortune or your meager belongings. You can lose your freedom as well.
Senator Flake says you should be suspicious of any emails asking for money, and even then, you should always check with trusted friends or family before making any transactions.
It's a headline we see all too often: mass shootings. Cronkite News reporter Julia Thatcher spoke with a company based here in Arizona who is helping train those first responders to deal with situations they could encounter.
Virtual reality training could become a reality for more Arizona police departments. I got to visit the company providing simulations officers go through and try out the training myself.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Let her go. Do it now. Let her go.
A company based in Tempe builds simulators and creates scenarios for purchase for agencies such as police officers or military. These simulations help prepare our first responders for more than 100 situations they could encounter.
We're adding the stress with the proper tools in the proper time. Decision making. Can you make the right tool work at the right time under the right stress, with or without teammates, with yourself, and survive at all costs.
The scenarios are written by experts who were former military or police themselves, writing from their own experiences. And while they're not out in the field anymore, they are hoping to help those who are.
Everything you have to process and deal with in seconds, and it can mean the matter of life and death. It could be the matter of going home to your children or not. So that's where it comes. It's very powerful for us former law enforcement and military personnel to still be involved, still play a part, and build tools and products to help them do their jobs.
A government affairs specialist for Arizona Police Association said they are asking for funds from the state budget to pay for simulators and put them in different locations around Arizona. It would allow police officers to train using them.
It's hard to be a police officer right now. Officers need to be held at a higher standard. We expect that, but we also need to provide them the tools to hold them at those higher standards.
The budget appropriation wouldn't specify the company to contract with, but Virtra employees say it's less about where they get the training from and more about getting the training in the hands of the officers.
It's about, for my brothers and sisters still on the street. I know what they're going through, especially nowadays.
During the simulation, if the officer is shot, it triggers a taser that they wear so they can become familiar working through the pain. Julia Thatcher, Cronkite News.
We've been seeing all kinds of wildlife out here at Lake Pleasant, and that's because of warmer weather.
We haven't seen any wild burros yet, but they are here. At Lake Pleasant, there's actually about 3 times the recommended amount of 200 burros. Lake Pleasant is just one of 12 areas across the state that's seeing more burros than they should have.
Yeah, then it's competition of who gets petted.
They're cute and they're lovable, and they're also overrunning the state. Arizona's point person for the burro overpopulation issue, who has worked for Arizona Game and Fish for 20 years, said he's never seen the numbers so high in so many areas.
This is the first time that I'm aware that every herd management area in the state was over AML, and in many areas grossly over AML.
Here are 6 of the herd management areas in the state, with the red bars showing how far they are over AML, the appropriate management level. Statewide, it's been set at 1,316 burros, but the latest estimates have the burro population at over 4,000 and growing. In addition to causing car accidents on the highways and damaging trees and plants aesthetically, the non-native burros, when there are too many of them, make life more difficult for native species like deer and bighorn sheep.
Burros will actually keep wildlife, physically exclude wildlife from waters.
They will eat grass down to the point that it doesn't regrow, and they will strip trees of their bark and new growth.
One of the best solutions to the problem is actually adoption. And here at the state prison in Florence, it's inmates that get these burros ready to be adopted.
Randy Helm, who runs the prison's wild horse inmate program, which includes burros, says his facility could hold about twice the amount of horses and burros that it has right now.
Our ability to have burros here is totally dependent on the Bureau of Land Management. We have room here. Some of that just depends on when they will do a gather.
Officials say gathering and adopting out the animals is the most reasonable solution because it only takes a few months to get a wild burro ready for adoption.
Now, the last time the agency rounded up some donkeys here at Lake Pleasant was in 2007, and Arizona Game and Fish said they don't have any plans to do another roundup in the near future.
Cronkite News spoke with Arizona Senator John McCain for a one-on-one interview discussing McCain's take on the 2016 presidential race. Reporter Blake Bernard joins us with the highlights of that exclusive interview.
During his time as a presidential candidate, Arizona Senator John McCain was no stranger to mudslinging in politics. Still, he says that the general rancor of the 2016 presidential race is disturbing.
I'm sorry to say now that it has reached a new low.
Senator McCain ran for president twice, including a 2008 Republican nomination. He says in order for politicians to return to civil discourse, you need to step up.
The American people have to reject this kind of mudslinging and character assassinations that are going on. I think they have to reject people that practice it. I never called an opponent of mine a liar. I never disparaged their character or their integrity.
Hardly a week goes by without a candidate making the news for a backhand comment or dramatic statement regarding their opponents. McCain says they've lost track of what is important.
We've lost our view of the issues and concentrate on what the latest insult was. We have a world on fire.
Senator McCain also discussed his ideas to solving the Syrian conflict. In addition to instituting a no-fly zone, he wants U.S. military involvement.
Take out ISIS, that means go to Raqqa, where their base is, and a multinational military composed primarily of Sunni Arab countries, the United States contributing about 10,000 of the 100,000 that would be required.
Sending troops overseas is always a tough decision, but McCain believes when it comes to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, those extreme decisions need to be made.
Because he's the one that caused all this, and he's the one that has already killed 250,000 of his citizens.
Additionally, McCain says when it comes to stopping ISIS in America, that means an increased national security and Silicon Valley helping out.
Have our military and the high-tech community sit down and work this out. There's bound to be a resolution.
Senator McCain hopes that resolution would make it okay for the government to have backdoor access to iPhones in attempts of preventing another attack like San Bernardino. He also says he would be in favor of selecting a committee that would help decide these issues of security versus private security versus national security. In downtown Phoenix, Blake Bernard, Cronkite News.
According to a recent poll, more than half of Arizonans support right-to-die legislation. So one state senator is working to make so-called death with dignity legal in the state, but she's facing immense opposition in the legislature.
When I sat there holding his hand and watching him take his last breath and struggling to breathe and suffocate to death, it was more than I could bear.
State Senator Barbara McGuire knows full well how agonizing the final days can be for patients who are terminally ill. Her father passed away from chronic lung disease. She still keeps a picture of him on her desk in the Senate chamber.
He's a great inspiration to me, even though he's gone.
And he's one of the reasons she's sponsoring Senate Bill 1136, which would legalize physician-assisted suicide for patients with less than 6 months to live.
When there is no quality of life, I don't think that they should be subjected to having to go through torturous suffering.
A Behavior Research Center poll done late last year showed 56% of Arizonans would support this legislation. Dennis Flaherty, who himself has a terminally ill diagnosis, counts himself among the majority.
There's no recovery. There's no cure. It's not reversible. There's no hope. So why don't I have the option of going out with some dignity?
But Senate Bill 1136 and similar bills in the past have stalled in the Senate Health and Human Services Committee. Senator Nancy Bardo, the chairwoman, did not want to be interviewed on camera for this story, but did say this in a statement. The so-called right to die may soon become a duty to die, as our seniors, disabled, and depressed family members are pressured or coerced into ending their lives. Pro-life groups agree.
What they're trying to do here is kill the patient before God is willing to call them.
Senator McGuire told me that if the bill doesn't pass committee, which she said is more than likely what will happen, she'll hold a public hearing on the issue sometime in March.
The debate over whether Apple should unlock iPhones for the federal government hits Arizona today.
Maricopa County Attorney Bill Montgomery announced today that iPhones will no longer be used in his office. Reporter James Ulrich has the motive and reaction to this move.
County Attorney Bill Montgomery says iPhones will no longer be bought to replace or upgrade phones for his department. He cited Apple's refusal to unlock phones used in crimes like the San Bernardino shootings as the reason not to buy Apple phones.
The people who work here at the Maricopa County Attorney's Office will soon be weaning themselves from their iPhones, according to their boss.
If an employee currently has an iPhone, they can keep it. But when they get to a point where they either need a replacement or want an upgrade, an iPhone will not be an option.
His decision comes after the San Bernardino shootings last December, which started a fight between Apple and the FBI. Apple has refused to comply with the FBI's request for encryption codes for the shooter's phone.
I could not in good conscience, as the head of a law enforcement agency, continue to use their products as we have in the past.
This debate has sparked protests around the nation.
First your phone, then your home. First your phone, then your home.
U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch says Apple's defiance goes against a long-standing principle in the justice system.
We owe it to the victims and to the public whose safety we must protect to ensure that we have done everything under the law to fully investigate terrorist attacks on American soil.
Many tech companies are siding with Apple, but Microsoft founder Bill Gates thinks otherwise.
You shouldn't call the access some special thing. It's no different than, have anybody ever been able to tell the phone company to get information.
New employees at the Maricopa County Attorney's Office will not be able to choose an iPhone as a smartphone option.
Montgomery told me access to the shooter's iPhone is critical to keeping the public safe because text and photos may provide additional leads about terrorism threats. In the broadcast center, I'm James Ulrich, Cronkite News.
Arizona District 5 will be looking for a new representative in November. Longtime politician Matt Salmon announced this morning that he would retire at the end of his current term. And he talked exclusively to Cronkite News just a few hours ago.
I believe that a person has a responsibility to their family, a father. And so I feel like I need to be back with my wife, my children, my grandchildren, and let somebody else come and do this job and serve.
Cronkite News reporter Ben Marjat caught up with Salmon's wife Nancy in an exclusive interview today. Ben?
This morning, Nancy Salmon told Cronkite News in that exclusive interview that her husband's decision to step down was entirely based on family reasons and that it wasn't an easy choice at all.
It's a very difficult decision to make. It's been a long few months for us trying to decide what is best.
Those long few months ended this morning when Representative Salmon made public the news that he would step down at the end of his term. His wife, Nancy Salmon, said she felt bittersweet this morning.
Actually, I was feeling a little bit sad, but yet happy at the same time because we've had a great desire to live in the same place and be together.
Just after he announced his retirement, current Arizona Senate President Andy Biggs announced his campaign for the seat with Salmon as his campaign chairman. Biggs said in a statement, quote, "I never envisioned running for Congress, but Matt's decision to return home leaves a void that must be filled by the kind of strong conservative voice that the people of Arizona's 5th District have come to expect and that they deserve." Former state Senator Kelly Ward, who's challenging Senator John McCain for his Senate seat, said she was in full support of Biggs' run for the position.
I have not met anybody that I have been able to build a more trusting relationship in the legislative process being in the Arizona State Senate than Senator Biggs.
Biggs is the only person thus far who has declared a candidacy.
I'm grateful.
Biggs also said in that statement that his campaign would focus on protecting limited government and working to enforce our nation's borders. In Phoenix, Ben Marjat, Cronkite News.
Members from Fostering Advocates Arizona are spending the day at the Capitol, hoping to have their voices heard. Reporter Sydney Glenn found out what changes they are hoping for.
Members of Fostering Advocates Arizona presented this document to the Arizona State Legislature today, focusing on 5 changes they believe need to be addressed in the foster care system, including normal adolescent experiences, better matching process for placements, strong relationship with caseworkers, permanent placement priorities, and health care. Members of Fostering Advocates Arizona arrived at the Capitol this morning, hoping to have their voices heard. Desiree Klemenko knows the struggles firsthand. She was in the foster system as a child.
The changes that need to be made that can truly put a positive impact in the lives of thousands of youth who are currently experiencing foster care.
The organization released a document today that they plan to share with state lawmakers, focusing on the 5 key priorities, aiming to help foster children better transition into adulthood.
The trauma that exists from moving from placement to placement, from caseworkers changing often and not having the supports they need as they transition to adulthood.
This is personal for many members, and they want to give a voice to those in the system.
I've experienced the foster care system, and in the last few years, Arizona has experienced a crisis within the foster care system.
If you're interested in viewing this document or finding out more about the cause, visit fosteringadvocatesarizona.org. In the Broadcast Center, Sydney Glenn, Cronkite News.
It was 50 years ago today, March 1st, 1966, that the Supreme Court finished hearing oral arguments in the landmark case Miranda v. Arizona. And even though the case is now half a century old, its legacy and impact are still felt today.
It's 4 declamatory sentences followed by a question for a total of 57 words.
Okay, it obviously starts with you have the right to remain silent. I know you've heard this before.
The Miranda rights in their 50-year history have transcended criminal justice and cemented their place in pop culture.
If Miranda is accepted today by the populace, it is the result of cultural influence.
It all started when Ernesto Miranda kidnapped a 19-year-old woman and raped her in Central Phoenix.
He was headed this way probably from the day he was born.
In March of 1963, Ernesto Miranda was questioned, eventually arrested, in the building right behind me, the old Phoenix Police Headquarters right here in downtown Phoenix.
But 50 years ago, virtually no one was following Ernesto Miranda's journey through our legal system.
There was no coverage. It was just another routine, run-of-the-mill, unimportant, one-day trial.
That all changed after the Supreme Court decision, easily one of the most important decisions in the court's history.
Watershed decision in criminal procedure. It is probably one of the best known cases.
The decision required that law enforcement all across the country read suspected criminals their rights before interrogation, a law that is unique to the United States. Today, Miranda is still buried in the city of Mesa Cemetery, and the legacy of the controversial Supreme Court decision lives on.
Are there any other constitutional amendments that you can think of where there's a discussion about it 1,000 times every day in hundreds of cities all over across America? And the answer to that is no, there is not.
The 50-year anniversary of the court's 5-4 decision, written by then Chief Justice Earl Warren, will be on June 13th. Tempe businesses have been complaining that people sitting or lying on the street drives customers away. Cronkite News reporter Alexis Dominguez is in Tempe with a look into how the people of Tempe feel about possibly banning this behavior.
Squatting in Tempe once was banned, and now, as of 2014, when that ban was taken away, there has been an increase in the amount of people who are squatting here on the sidewalks, and that is a problem for Tempe businesses.
Downtown Tempe commercial property managers Moonshadow and Peter Krokel expressed their frustration with having squatters or panhandlers in front of businesses.
It's invasive and it's off-putting. It tends to drive patrons and their families away who are looking to relax when they come to Tempe.
Moonshadow and Peter Krokel say squatters and panhandlers are a big problem in the downtown Tempe area.
It's like almost every street corner there is somebody there trying to get something.
A proposed change to the city code would allow a police officer to fine someone $100 if they do not comply. But squatter Jeremy Smith says that will not solve the problem.
Where are we gonna go? We out here. I mean, it's okay, get us off the street, but where are they gonna put us, you know? Are they gonna house us up? No, they ain't. They give us tickets and stuff, but we can't pay it.
President and Executive Director of the Downtown Tempe Authority, Kate Borders, says the ban is not meant to criminalize homelessness.
So we have lots of benches around downtown. There are all sorts of places where they can go. They could go to 6th Street Park, they could go to Tempe Beach Park, and they could sit on grass.
Instead, Borders says they just want to clear up the downtown commercial sidewalks.
We have no intent of advocating for, a lot of citations or anything of that nature.
The council will have 2 more public hearings to further discuss the ban and will be voting in April.
If that ban goes into effect, it is expected to be in full effect in May. Live in Tempe, Alexis Dominguez, Cronkite News.
There is a new bill being sponsored in the Senate that would regulate drones in Arizona. Cronkite News reporter Nick Pope went to learn more about the devices and their future in Arizona.
Unmanned aircrafts, or drones, have been the subject of much controversy over the past couple of years. Now, as they become more popular in Arizona, there is a movement in the Senate to control these devices.
We're trying to do a reasonable bill that can regulate drones and be acceptable to the FAA and take care of all the concerns of commerce and municipalities.
The bill would prohibit the flight of drones in certain areas. Those who fly the devices and interfere with law enforcement or manned aircrafts would face prosecution. Even those who are experienced in the field agree that the time has come for regulations.
Somebody set aside the ground rules so that everybody's very clear on what is and what is not appropriate. Those of us that have been flying these for years are very sensitive to the fact that not everybody is appreciative of these things. Just because you have one doesn't mean you can fly wherever you want.
As we await the Senate's decision on Senate Bill 1449 and unmanned aircrafts, all we can do in the meantime is sit back and enjoy them.
They're coming, they're here actually, and we just need to have reasonable laws to control their activity, make them safe, protect people's privacy.
Understanding the people that use them, or even flying one yourself. Somebody that's never flown one understands, what it can be used for. Not necessarily the negative connotations, but all the wonderful things that can be done, with these devices.
The law would also help businesses that want to use drones for things like deliveries. They would have one set of regulations to follow, and those would cover the whole state. In Phoenix, Nick Pope, Cronkite News.
And with the Arizona primaries just over a week away, one lawmaker is trying to change the state's campaign finance rules. But Cronkite News reporter Ben Marjat spoke to some who say the bill would allow for dark money to flow more freely.
Republican Senator Adam Driggs is sponsoring SB 1516, which passed in the Senate last Tuesday. Supporters say it would root out unlawful political spending, but those on the other side of the aisle paint a much different picture.
It opens up the floodgates for anonymous, unlimited amounts of money to flow through Arizona and buy your politicians and your votes.
Yet another push today from the Arizona Advocacy Network to stop SB 1516. The bill was set to be heard in the House Elections Committee this morning, but that hearing was postponed.
We will not be hearing Senate Bill 1516.
The bill passed the Senate 1810 last Tuesday amid praise from Secretary of State Michelle Reagan, who drafted the legislation with Senator Driggs. But critics, most of them from the Democratic Party, say the bill would open the floodgates to dark money, campaign contributions with no real paper trail in all state elections.
The amount of opportunities that people can use in this law to avoid disclosure, to hide money, and to peddle influence is unprecedented.
But when the bill was introduced, Reagan touted it as a way to simplify and clean up the campaign finance process, saying, quote, "It's offensive to many that institutional groups would have to hand over the personal information of their members and supporters to a government agency." Senator Martin Quezada said this bill is more far-reaching than that.
The provisions that are actually in this bill
are much, much broader than a simple cleanup, than simple reorganization or simplification of these statutes.
The election committee chairwoman did not say when the bill would have the chance to be heard again. In the broadcast center, Ben Marjat, Cronkite News. Gambling in the world of fantasy sports may get a bit easier in Arizona. Cronkite News reporter Nick Pope went to learn more about the rapidly growing industry and its future here in the Grand Canyon state.
While Arizona's spring training games have been a tradition for years, it's the online games that are looking to make a breakthrough.
The growth of fantasy sports kind of came late. You know, it's really been in the last 15 years that fantasy sports have seemed to explode on the scene, really with the internet.
Senate Bill 1515 would exclude daily fantasy sports from the state's definition of gambling, which would effectively make it legal for Arizonans to win money from the games. Sites like FanDuel and DraftKings have become more popular over the past year. People like Stacey Stern feel that the time has come for Arizona to join the trend. However, one senator fears the possible ramifications with Arizona's Native American community.
I voted against it because we got advice from several attorneys that the bill would trigger what's known as the poison pill in our gaming compact with our tribes.
The gaming compact, for example, we don't want to disrupt that. Completely respect that. But we also feel like there are about 800,000 Arizonans who are disenfranchised from playing these games, from making that decision on their own that they want to play these games.
I think that there's a lot of people who are interested in it, a lot of people who want to play it, but it's got to be something that is worked out over a period of time, that people from both sides of the aisle, from the tribal communities and from the proponents of fantasy football, to sit down and find a way to make it work within that compact.
While online gambling is an especially touchy issue in Arizona, no one can deny the rising popularity and demand for daily fantasy sports. In Phoenix, Nick Pope, Cronkite News.
That's it for this special edition of Cronkite News tonight. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.